Hello everybody, welcome back to Movie Reviews. In this episode I'm looking at a film to do with the Vietnam War. And I chose this film, Stanley Kubrick's Full Metal Jacket from 1987. This is quite an interesting film because I've known about this film for years. I've had it on VHS, but I've never seen it. I've had it in my VHS collection for many years, but I never got around to watching it. I know it's great, it's a memorable film, lots of interesting stuff going on, and it's just do the Vietnam War, like most of the films in the 80s tend to do, actually. I mean, it is one of the more famous ones, it is, because it's got Kubrick as director on it, and it's got a group of unknown actors, very much. Like, I think you don't remember seeing them. You don't remember seeing them these days. They're not like sort of like mega superstars, like maybe other ones, like I don't know really, but it's just quite a breath of fresh air. When watching it, it's a breath of fresh air. It is. I mean, it's like not like The Shining, which you have Jack Nicholson as the lead role, or as I shot with Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman, or I mean that's about it really. Yeah, I think that's about it I can really think of. So anyway, let's begin. So this is based on a novel from 1979 called The Short Timers. Surprisingly, I didn't know this was based on a novel. So it is now. So I give you the information now. It is based on a novel, and Kubrick and two other people. I can't remember the names. I think Sene Ferris rings a bell, but I don't know. But him and two others adapted this novel, and it's split into two parts. This one. So the first part of the movie is set in boot camp. It is, and they actually filmed this in the UK. Actually, surprisingly, the boot camp stuff in boot camp. It's shot in probably, I don't know, if somewhere around London or outside of London. Filmed somewhere around there, and obviously it's to do with getting ready, being prepared, and obviously getting to know the characters as well. Because you've got Joker, the main character of the film. You have Animal Mother. You've got Pyle. Pyle's the other one. I can't remember. And 8-Ball. Yeah, I can remember a few of these names. Yeah, nicknames. I can't remember the actual names of the actors, but I can always remember Lee R. Ermey. Lee R. Ermey is actually a real drill instructor. He used to be a real drill instructor, so Kubrick brought him in, and obviously he's actually one of the main selling points of the movie. He is, because he's so before it's, I don't know if he kind of as a performance. It is sort of a performance, but he's actually doing a job that he used to do a few years back, and I found he's very engaging to listen to. I mean, how he talks down to them, treats them like dirt. It is absolutely fantastic. It's absolutely really good stuff, and obviously him shouting down, most of them, like say for a joke or something, or if anything goes on, it's always with him, boom, and shouting like that. Really good. So let's go. So the character of Joker, played by Matthew Modine, I think it is. Matthew Modine? I think it is. Obviously not as I would say a very well-known actor, very much. Like he's a bit of an unknown. He is. And Joker, the character of Joker is sort of like a man who wants to defend America, because America is his own turf, and obviously go and find Vietnam. I think that was his main goal, really. I think for all the rest, actually, or they got sent away for various reasons, and obviously it's to do with him going through boot camp and then going to Vietnam. While doing boot camp, he basically meets a few people, especially Animal Mother and Pyle. Now Pyle sort of is another character of the narrative in the boot camp section, or the the section of the boot camp he is in the film, and he basically comes in. He then gets tortured, even by the drill instructor, but also by the other soldiers. And obviously, this sort of drives him insane. This does, all towards some point in the middle of the film, and obviously Joker becomes like supportive of him, but the scene involving him at night time being beaten, clubbed, or was it with socks and hard stuff or something with socks in, and beaten to death while he's in bed, timed down to his bed. Obviously, and Joker had to do it as well. That sort of broke Pyle. That did. Well, actually, his real name's Leonard. Yeah, they call him Pyle, and obviously that breaks him down, and then he goes insane. He basically stays in the toilet one night, and obviously with Joker on sort of night watch, he basically finds out what's going on. Obviously, he's basically nuts. He's sort of become, I would say, nuts. Like, he goes all full on Jack Nicholson, Nicolas Cage, them sort of actors who go, he has that sort of scary, goodish, sort of Jokerish look he has. And obviously, it's just like weird, like, ah! And all that, that sort of screams or like breathes or screeches that he does, obviously, and because he's gone mad, because he's been tortured and gone through hell, and obviously, and he basically shoots the instructor at the end, obviously because he can't reply. He basically had enough, and out goes Lee Ermey, which is a shame, and then surprisingly he actually kills himself. He puts a bullet into his head, which is quite surprising, and yeah. And then we move to Vietnam, of course. Joker has become, I don't know if he's become a sergeant, I'm not too sure, but he basically sees them travelling through Vietnam. They basically go for this sort of, the travel through, they meet a couple of Viennese women they want to, more like a Viennese prostitute, really, very much, and obviously, that sort of thing that was going on, I think, obviously. They play. You have to get $20 to get this thing. For about 20 minutes. I think it is. Yeah, 20 minutes, $20 for a woman. The other thing about this film was it takes a little bit. It takes some time. Well, it takes most of the film in the stuff in Vietnam with this unknown sniper that's basically taking down the rest of the squad of the platoon. Obviously, they have to manage their way through, be strategic, if I pronounce that right, and then obviously take the sniper down, which is actually trying to be a woman, funny enough, and obviously they basically shoot down a few of the well-known soldiers, obviously, which is quite a shame, hoping to see some of them live to see the day, but apparently they aren't, and obviously they just go through. It's always very careful, always quite tense actually as well, which is interesting. Yeah, and obviously they defeat her in the end, and they just carry on with Vietnam, and he slowly fades at the end. Really, you don't see much more that going on. So that's how the film ends. Oh, because of my first time actually watching, I thought, oh, that's how it ends. Okay. First up, another thing else, we have some great music from Vivian Kubrick, Stanley Kubrick's daughter, under the pseudonym of Abigail Mead. And obviously the stuff, it's basically, the soundtrack itself is a mixture of, sort of like tribal drumming and stuff like, and sounds, and sort of like ambient sounds as well, which sort of make the film a bit tense as well. You've got 60s pop as well, because you've got Surfing Bird the Trashman, you have got, what's the Dixie Chickens, or, yeah, it's something like that, or, Good Morning Vietnam, all that sort of stuff. It's a nice little selection. And then, to promote the movie, I have this in a compilation actually, they released a single, which has got like a bit of dance beat, and it's got Lee Ermey's, sort of like, I would basically say so his chants, sort of chants and the sort of war cries and the training going on as well with most of the actors, and they recorded that and put a little dance beat on it. That picked up at number 2 in the UK charts. Yeah, and then it picked up number 2 in the UK singles charts in 1987 to promote a Vietnam War movie. Her original. And it's quite good actually, I do enjoy it. Obviously Kubrick's direction is fantastic, there's a lot of good stuff going on there as well. Visually it's fantastic, quite gritty as well, very good. Nice shots in, I don't know where they shot the stuff in Vietnam, maybe in a different country I think, but probably. But overall, very nicely shot. I mean, Kubrick has done fantastic with this movie, and you know, I think I think he does feel grateful. You know, everyone feels grateful that it's one of his best movies. It is. You've got fine acting. You know, the score's actually really good. Nice bit of 60s stuff going on as well. Story itself, fantastic. You know, it's basically in two sections, and then, you know, it's always do the beginning of training to go to Vietnam, and then you're in Vietnam and we're experiencing the death and destruction of people, environments, civilians, Vietnamese civilians. It's rather interesting. It is. I mean, there are other films that also came out around the 80s as well, because you've got Oliver Stone's Platoon, you have John Irvin's Hamburger Hill. You've also got the Forrest Gump in there as well, which he goes to Vietnam, which I've already reviewed, and I think stuff like Red Dawn as well. And of course Apocalypse Now. How can I forget Apocalypse Now? But along with that film, this is another great one actually to add to a collection. I mean, I've got them for my DVD collection anyway, but it's always nice to have them as well, because it's a sort of a mini genre. The Vietnam War films are like a mini genre of war. They are. I mean, you've got like World War II and or maybe like Civil War and stuff like that. I mean, it's just really good, and the films that do depict the Vietnam War, really good stuff actually. So that's my review of Stanley Kubrick's Full Metal Jacket from 1987. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you for the next video.